welcome to Closet Conversations. This is day 3 of the California shelter at home mandate, and I wanted to report back to you how I spent my day today. It was okay. It was an okay day. It's Sunday, so I slept in. I didn't push myself too hard today, but I did get a lot done by starting with making my bed. So I always feel like if I can just get my bed made, I've accomplished a lot. But got my bedroom straightened up. I didn't do any dishes in the kitchen, but I had my breakfast. I had my tea. I was checking emails, checking the status of what's going on in the world. But I did do a little bit of work today. So I was really excited because I posted around another 20-ish items, maybe a little more, on Poshmark. And what was really nice is that a lot of these items were ones that have just been hanging around. 2 of the items were rephotographing items, where I have changed the background in my Poshmark store. It has this really brightly colored pink and blue and yellow photograph of a girl smiling. It's really almost like a cartoonish looking. It's actually something that I bought years ago, like 2008, 2009, at one of those movie sale lots, because I had done some background extra work in the movies long time ago, and we had a break, and one of the studios was having a lot sale, and I, loving reselling like I do and things that are used. I stood in line during my entire break, and I had found that painting, the painting that you see in my pictures on the wall, and I bought it and I left it with them, and somehow I got it out of that lot with my receipt, and it did not fit well in my car. You can imagine it was pretty big. So anyway, I rephotographed a couple of things with my new background, so that was good, and did a lot of steaming on the clothes and cutting off extra strings and taking tags off and otherwise prepping them and getting them ready to go. And so that was quite an accomplishment for me, I felt. I did during the day get this email from Vestiaire Collective talking about how they are stopping the American operations because of what's happening in New York. And apparently their warehouse is based in New York, and that is something they're having to close. And so in the announcement that they had on the newsletter, the email newsletter was basically saying that you can't buy or sell in America right now. And so you can still buy from sellers in Europe and Asia, but not in America, because I'm assuming that's because those items are processed out of that American warehouse. They're processed or checked or whatever it is that they do, and that is a big deal. So I stopped everything and made the small podcast on that and put that up today. If you've not listened to it, you might want to take a gander at that, because that is huge news, as I said in the podcast, because if they're having to close their warehouse, that means other people are going to have to also. And the Real, they have a warehouse in New Jersey, which isn't far from New York, and where they're having a lot of issues with that. So, yeah. Someone is dinging me as I'm doing my podcast, but I'm going to leave it in there because it's my business partner. So anyway, I was really, happy to get that out and let people know about it. And one of my goals is during this time is as I find out news and information that impacts the reselling community, I'm going to share it, because everyone doesn't have access to the same news sources. So, we have access to a lot of the same news sources. Everyone, for example, wouldn't have seen what I saw today. So I got that out there pretty quick on my podcast and also on my Facebook page. So if you've not subscribed yet to the Jenniegirl Loves Resale, Retail, and Consignment Facebook page, we have around 1,000 members. I am constantly posting news articles on trends and changes in the reselling and retail community and consignment, so you might want to check that out. Other things today were working with the company that does my social media and coming up with the new post for today and going over that and verifying the designs and all of that. So that went up today because we had a post earlier and I didn't like how the color clashed. And so it looks so much better now. We took down, it was a posting of a red Moschino skirt, vintage, but it was next to a purple and black and kind of pink image, and it just really clashed. So I took that down and we posted a different image that we were going to do tomorrow. We did that today instead. It looks a lot cleaner and neater in the feed. So that took place. I was really happy about that. Spent a lot of time talking to some friends of mine. We are all being affected by COVID-19 so differently and how it's impacting people's lives. And some of my friends are having to leave town and others are sheltered in place. And so there's a lot of things going on with different people about that. So I thought that was an important thing to do. And I feel like I'm having a lot more communication with my friends and family these days than I've had in a long time. And that feels good. The reseller's nightmares when you know it's there, you know you haven't sold it, and you cannot find it. I spent so much time last night looking for it, and then today looking for it, and I finally gave up. And I told the person on Poshmark, I just said, I'm marking this not for sale until I can find it, and when I can find it, I will give you the measurements and let you know more about the item. So yeah. So again, all this staying at home is forcing me to do a lot of things I've put off, which is get my inventory better organized. And that means all skirts together. For me, it's all skirts together, all tops together, all sweaters, all jackets. And the way I have things organized in my storage are for clothing items that are regular clothing items, not like small things. They're all on hangers, and they're by category and by color. And they're also by what you'd call length, so sleeve length, skirt length, things like that. So yeah, I worked a little bit on that. I did not even open my door today, and I regret that. I regret that I didn't walk outside for just a few minutes, and I should have done that. It's a pretty weather-wise terrible day today, or was in Pasadena. It was raining most of the day, but not all of the day. I could have gotten out there and walked around. But I think part of this sheltering in place concept is I'm taking it very literally, and I'm not even going outside. I don't know that that's a good idea though. So I'm rethinking that. Maybe if only I walk out, go down the steps, walk to the laundry room, wander around and come back would still be getting a little bit of fresh air for the day. But I don't even have my windows open. I'm literally shuttered in. So that's a very interesting feeling. And they say there's months and months of this coming. So yeah, I think the only way to cope in my mind with this is to take it a day at a time. Because if somebody said to me, you're going to be doing this for 6 or 12 months, I don't think I could handle it. But if they basically said, if they dripped it out and you think of it one day at a time, I think that I can handle. I can handle one more day like this, or one more day and one more day. I think that will be a lot easier to cope with than trying to think so far ahead. As I get into this and I realize all that there is to do in my apartment, there's going to be no shortage of things. I think the key is mentally is staying motivated and staying kind of inspired to do the work and not getting dragged down by what's happening in the media. It's really interesting if you go on to CNN or you go on to New York Post and you go down that rabbit hole and start listening to everything. You'll get a knot in your stomach by the time you're done. And then though, if you walk outside, it's as if nothing's happening. And so in one area you can feel what's happening, and in another it seems like it's a million miles away. And so I think for me, I went on just like everyone else and went down the rabbit hole, and then I popped back out and I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. And I cut it off, and I was very focused on processing all my inventory today. And I think the key is to see what's going on, but not dwell on what's going on, because it's not going to be productive. As long as you're aware what's happening, you're doing the right things by abiding by what's been told to you, by sheltering in place and not going out. I think that's important. My business partner had asked me several times recently, is there anything he could pick me up while he was out? And I just said, no, I don't want anything that I don't actually need right now, because there might be a point where I do need it. And then that will be more important. But I'm fully stocked with food, and I am fully stocked with work to do. So I'm just doing it. I did listen to some resellers today that were live on YouTube. One of them was called Becky Park, I believe. The other one, I can't think of her name, but she's a California reseller. And it was really cute because the two of them were live together and just talking about reselling. And what's really the big issue for all the resellers is inventory, because without the ability to go out and source, and we certainly can't do that here in Pasadena, all of the thrift shops are closed. That kind of leaves a couple of things for people to do. Is one, to buy it online, two, go through what you already have and perfect it, and three, ask for ask for people who are looking to dump things that have been cleaning out their homes, like posting on some of these neighborhood boards or things like that. There's plenty of people with stuff they don't want, and depending on what it is that you resell, might be an outlet for you. But that's the big question, is how are people going to keep sourcing? And I am very fortunate. I have a lot of inventory. But you know what? I might go through this pretty quick because, I got up a lot of pieces. So, I think that there's going to be a point at which I really do run out of things to list. It's going to be a while, but there is a finite number of pieces in here. So when that happens, it is definitely then about perfecting the listings and then the cross-posting the listings to other platforms. So those are pieces of work that are very specific. It's something I know how to do and something that I'll be doing a lot of. Anyway, that's about it for today, for day 3 of shelter in place. Again, I think it's about keeping a strong and positive mental outlook, and everyone is going to have their own challenge with that. And I think staying connected to people, taking breaks, not going down the rabbit hole of the news, being aware of what's happening, doing what you can and doing your part, and just staying focused on your business is going to be great. I am very fortunate in the fact that I don't have children that I have to look after. And so I know a lot of people, there's discussion of, having to be caretakers to their children because they're not in school right now. And that adds to a little bit of the challenge of getting through their day. And I don't have that. And I think that's a lucky for me, because that definitely would be taking time away from getting these other things organized. But people are taking it a day at a time. And I think that's all you can do, is one day at a time, go through, make your list of what you need to accomplish and try to get through it. So my day 3 wasn't too exciting, but it was that was my day. So it isn't all that exciting, but that is my day. So I also worked on, I can't say that's all I did. Of course, there's more, but I was in contact with a couple of people that are going to be on my podcast, and we're trying to get the timing right, because things are really changing rapidly, and a lot of these people have work, or they have positions in their work that have really shifted around, so it's affecting that. But I am working on some very exciting guests with some very timely information, so I'm hoping to get that sorted this week and out to you, so keep listening for that. In the meantime, I'm still doing what I'm doing here and taking a day at a time like everyone else. So this is Jennie Walker with Closet Conversations. Keep up your spirits as we get through this one day at a time, and I'll be doing the same. And I hope to see you with me on a future episode of Closet Conversations. If you enjoyed the song you heard at the beginning called Black Hat, it's part of the album Night Flight to London, written and performed by Jennie Walker and Tommy Farragher. It's available on iTunes worldwide now.